today. I'm here with Kyle Alexander, forward with the Tennessee Volunteers men's basketball team. So Kyle, thank you for being here with us today.
Thank you for having me.
How's your day going?
It's going pretty well so far.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So growing up, you're from Ontario, Canada. Growing up in Canada, what's basketball like?
It's starting to grow a lot more, but it's not as big as it is in America. There's not a lot of big time like schools doing it out there. So when I started late. I started at 16, and so there was a new programs that started to be on the rise called Athlete Institute, which changed to Orangeville Prep my second year there. But they came and watched me play, and they offered me a scholarship. But there's not many big name schools out there like there is in America. So it's not huge in Canada, but it's starting to be on the come up now.
So playing basketball in both countries now, what would you say is the competition level like from America to Canada?
The competition level is definitely a lot better out here. That's why there's not really many D1 schools. There's not a single Division I school in basketball. They're in Canada. They're all in America. That's why all the Canadians have to come out here. But in Canada, I'm definitely one in a million, of tall people. Not talent-wise, but tall people, and you come out here, and now every team has a 6'11", 7-foot guy. So competition is definitely a lot better out here.
So now let's jump to your recruitment. When you were being recruited out of high school, you had 12 other schools offering you scholarships. Why did you choose the University of Tennessee?
It really came down to Tennessee and one other school was my last two choices I was choosing between. And, there's something about Coach Barnes, you could tell when you're around him, that he's real. He wasn't fake. I have like a pretty good perception of people, and I could see that. And, he surrounded himself with a great coaching staff that were honest with my parents, and my parents really appreciated that, did not promise us anything. And, also on top of that, he also coached a lot of Canadians too. Tristan Thompson and Corey Joseph, he coached them, and they're both playing in the league right now. And he coached a couple other Canadians, and so, he came all the way to Canada to come see me and to recruit me. And, I really saw that true pureness in him, and I really put my faith in him. And they put their faith in me, someone who's only been playing basketball for 2 years, recruiting them to a Power 5 school, that's a lot of trust factor going both ways. So, I really trusted them, and the fact that they trusted me.
Now, was that the biggest difference between the two schools? Because the other school was New Mexico, if I'm not mistaken. Was that the biggest difference, was the Coach Barnes came to visit you?
That wasn't the biggest difference, no, because they actually had a Canadian guy in New Mexico who was on their coaching staff who recruited me. So, that wasn't the biggest thing, but, it was, the basketball aspect of it. I really feel like I could do a lot better job succeeding here, and I had a better chance of, playing basketball after college if I came here. And, Coach Barnes has just had an incredible resume at Texas. So, the fact that I was able to have that coach here, is just an amazing opportunity, so I had to take it.
Definitely. Now, your freshman year, you averaged 1.7 points, 3 rebounds, 1 block, shooting 43% from the field and 65% from the free throw while only playing 12 minutes a game, right? Now, what was the biggest test for you your freshman year?
Oh, man. Confidence probably was my biggest test. They say that the mental part of the game is like more than the physical. Like they say it's like 80% of the game is mental. And I can definitely believe that because someone who's only been playing basketball for 2 years to come here in my third year of basketball playing at one of the highest divisions there is in NCAA basketball, it kind of messed with my mental a little bit. It wasn't very consistent. Would have 11 rebounds, 6 blocks one game, and then go to the next game and have 1 rebound. Stuff that you can't do at this level. So I think just the mental part and the confidence part was probably the biggest part for me.
Yeah. Now playing in this Division I, and then this conference, the SEC, you play a big powerhouse in Kentucky. Now, what was it playing Kentucky like your freshman year? Because I'm pretty sure you had a friend on Kentucky, right?
Yes, I did. Jamal Murray currently plays for Denver Nuggets. Me and him went to prep school at Athletes Institute, or Orangeville Prep now, for 2 years together. Second year we were roommates. And so, when I found out he chose Kentucky, probably my second summer session because he played for Team Canada in the summer. So when I found out he was coming, I was excited because that meant that we got to play together twice. We got to play against each other, twice. So it was going to be different, being on the same team for 2 years now playing against each other was going to be a cool opportunity. But, playing Kentucky is definitely one of the more fun things to do. People might think that, it's nerve-wracking. It's not. It's fun because, all the hype that comes around Kentucky, they've always been a great program. So for them, they have to know the fact that every time they go play a team that they're going to be juiced up, amped up. They have to be on their best every night because everybody wants to beat them. And so, it's definitely how it is. And, my first time playing Kentucky here, my freshman year, was an unbelievable experience because they sold out the arena. We come in and it's just a whole different environment. And, it's hard not to compete in that environment. So it was awesome.
Yeah, definitely. So now let's talk about last year, your sophomore year. You averaged 14 minutes a game, shooting 46%, with a 16% from the three-point line and 50% from the line. 4 rebounds, 1 block, and 3.3 points a game. What do you think was your biggest improvement from your freshman year to your sophomore year?
Just listening to the numbers, it's not the biggest improvement I was hoping for, but I think that I just I gave the team a little bit more on defense, just being able to be a presence, at the rim and being able to block shots. But, those are numbers I definitely want to improve on, and I hope that I do improve on those numbers.
Yeah, just being the presence there, just being that big man there, definitely. What stood out to you from your sophomore year where you grew the most at as a player?
Probably those games near the end of the season when your body hurts, you feel like you have no legs, you're mentally tired, physically tired, and you still have 10 games left. You're trying to fight to make that tournament spot. That's the part where you really find out who you are and you really grow because those are the hardest times to play. Is when your body's not there and it's really then it's really mental. And so I think that those are the parts when you find out who you really are, and those are the times you grow the most, I think. And I learned a lot, and I think our whole team learned a lot from that point last year.
So now let's talk about right now. You're in your junior year. You got basketball season's about to start. What part of your game did you work on the most during the off season?
My first 2 years, Coach Barnes kept telling me, when we're on offense, it's like playing 4 against 5 because he said my offensive threat wasn't there because, growing up, when I started playing those first 2 years, all I really wanted to do was just be that guy who blocked shots and rebound. That's all I wanted to do. And, I actually remember one time I played for CIA Bounce in the EYBL my first year of basketball. And I told Jamal, I said, if you have a choice between laying the ball up and passing the ball to me, I said, put the ball up and I'll go get it if you miss. And so that's kind of that's who I was, and that's all I wanted to be. And so I never really had an offensive game. That's all I wanted to do was just rebound and block shots. And so, at the college level, if people know that you're not an offensive threat, then they game plan for that, and they'll sag off you, and there's more help to other people. Other people can't really get open. So, that's one problem. That was one problem with me being on the floor, especially my sophomore year, was that I wasn't a threat offensively. So I really just keep trying to improve on that every year. My inside game, my finishing ability around the rim, people give me passes, being able to get up quicker with it just so that it takes pressure off of other guys and so that I can be more of a threat offensively and give my team more.
Trying to be like Mutombo out there, huh? No. So what are your individual goals coming for this season?
I just really want to be a guy that the team can look at and be like, he can help us win, more than anything. Because I really don't care about numbers, scoring, any of that stuff. It's just I want to really affect winning, and I really want to be a guy the team can look at and coach can look down the bench and have faith and courage that he can put me in the game and say, I know if I put him in, he's going to help us win. And so that's kind of just my main thing, whether that's, like I talked about, guards giving me the ball and having trust that I'm going to dunk it, or blocking shots, getting that rebound when the game is close, no matter what it is, just being that solid guy, being a junior now, you got to be that guy that the team can trust and be on your A game all the time. you have to be more consistent now. You know, as
Definitely.
a freshman, you know, you'll have 2 good games, have an off game, 2 good games, off game. Sophomore year, you know, you're supposed to pick it up, but now junior, senior year, upperclassmen, you gotta be more consistent. So I want to have that consistency.
So as of right now, what would you say your biggest strength and weakness is?
I would say my biggest strength is probably still just defense. You know, we do a lot of drills, you know, 2-on-1 drills coming down the lane, and you know, I think that I'm really effective on that. You know, I think that I can really protect the rim. I think that I really alter shots in practice, and I think that I'm a great rebounder. So I think that that's my strength right now. It's just defense, and I think that I got to keep growing on that and keep working on it. And I think I have a ton of weaknesses. You know, I think everybody does, and that everybody needs to keep working. That's why you stay in the gym. But if I had to think, biggest weakness. I mean, for a big guy who hasn't been around the game for much, probably just maybe. I mean, I know I have weaknesses.
No,
I couldn't tell you what my biggest weakness is.
Hey, that, you know,
Yeah.
that's a hard question to
Yeah.
answer. Like you always want to be confident in everything.
Yeah, exactly.
So, you know, I've been seeing you guys around, like the team and everything, and you guys seem all pretty close, like a family. What are the goals that, as a team, that you guys have set as a team? Not just individual goals, but as a team.
You know, last year we'd have some games where we started out strong, didn't finish as strong. You know, we played Mississippi State at Mississippi State last year, had a 20-point lead at half, ended up losing that game. And had some games where we started out slow and had to battle our way back in it, and we know that if we had just played the way we finished the game at the beginning, that we would have been fine. And so I think right now that our biggest thing as a team is being able to come out and play hard and maintain it for the whole game. I think that's our thing right now, is competing from start to finish for 40 minutes straight, because, you know, everybody talks about, you know, being a young team. Sure, you know, we were a young team, sophomores, freshmen, with 2 seniors. So you can understand why you'd come out and not play that way consistently for 40 minutes. But, you know, I think that this year that's something that we're definitely trying to focus on, is coming out and competing for 40 minutes straight and not having any regrets by the time we're done.
Now you mentioned being the young team, but in my eyes, you guys are still a young team. Out of the 16 players on the roster, 10 of them are underclassmen, and only 1 is a senior. The rest are juniors, right? So with you and some of the other guys being veterans and being the upperclassmen, what kind of leadership are you guys showing these young guys?
You know, it's kind of just a lot of these guys that come in, like we have a freshman this year, Derek Walker, but, you know, he's a freshman, but he doesn't act like one. So, you know, they've made our job a lot easier, you know, coming in and being very mature. But probably, you know, me and Admiral being juniors, Lamonte as being his 3rd year as well, and then having 1 senior. You know, I think our biggest thing is kind of just, we've been doing this for a while, so we kind of just provide the insight where it's due. You know, I've had Coach Barnes going on 3 years now, so if anybody ever just like mentally not really sure what Coach Barnes is trying to say, or like what his reasoning is, or anything like that, you know, kind of just providing that insight and just kind of giving them that, like, you'll be all right, you know, kind of mentality and kind of attitude, you know, just because we've been around it. You know, hearing that from somebody who's been around it can really help you out. So
Definitely. Now, so every basketball team has like a joker on the team. You know, you see it in the pros, you see it everywhere. You see the coaches after they win a big game come up in there and dance in.
Yeah.
So who is the joker on the men's team?
I honestly believe that I might have one of the funniest teams in college basketball, because my teammates are hilarious, man. Everybody's hilarious, but you know, if I had to pick some people, Jordan Bowden, hilarious. He's definitely the guy people would say is the comedian. Jordan Bone is hilarious. Chris Darrington is funny, but is never trying to be, but is the funniest guy. And I'd say Admiral Schofield, just because, you know, he's been my roommate, so I've seen him, you know, I've been around him a lot, and I know how truly funny he is. And the thing about him, too, makes it even better, is like, he's not afraid to say what's on his mind, so that makes everything so much better, because, you know, you get the honest truth from him. So he's probably there, up there too.
Now, as I said, you see college coaches like dancing and everything. Like you see it in football, you see it in basketball. Does Coach Barnes do any of that at
Oh.
all? Is there like a subtle side with him, or is he just always straight to business?
No. That's one of the things I noticed. He's a child off the court in a good way. He's the guy cracking up jokes. He even cracks jokes in practice. In the film room, making jokes out of funny things he sees. He's a great guy off the court. He's a comedian too, and he's always playing pranks on people on the coaching staff and all that stuff. He's just when he gets into the court, when he gets in between those lines, it is business. But that's how it's supposed to. Yeah, but that's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah. So let's talk about the schedule for you guys this year.
Mm-hmm.
So last year you guys went 8-10 in the SEC and 16-16 overall. With being such a young team, with the strength of your schedule, how are you as a leader of this team, as an upperclassman and a vet, preparing the younger guys for the type of schedule you have?
Every day when we come in, when we have weights, and say we have a weight session, and we start off kind of slow, or somebody forgets a detail and we got to do the whole round over, we have to step up and tell people like, listen, like we can't have those little mental mistakes, because that's like, imagine you have a scouting report and you don't know the scouting report fully, and then something happens that's not supposed to happen. Those are the little things that really matter, and that's what Coach Barnes gets on to. He's a very detailed coach, very detailed guy. And so those are the things that as upperclassmen we can tell those guys, like we have to be on our A game from the beginning, because every possession matters. Every possession matters.
Okay, so you guys have at least 9 teams on your schedule that made it to the tournament last year, and 2 of them making it to the Final Four. And I think the 2 that made it to the Final Four, actually you guys play them twice this year. And I think it's Kentucky and South Carolina. So how do you get the younger guys to prepare for such games and such teams like this?
I mean, I think that's a lot of that goes, with the coaching staff, what they're doing, as coaches, that's a lot of their thought process too, is how can we prepare these guys to go through all this. But they're doing a great job with that. Like you mentioned, last year we played 6 of the 8 teams in the Elite 8, and I think, was it all 4 teams or 3 of the 4 teams in the Final Four? So, I mean, and we brought back a lot of those guys. We brought back a lot of guys. So I think that a lot of guys already understand that and know what we have to do. And the guys coming in have kind of bought into our culture that we have of, working hard and wanting to win and not thinking that there's a game that we can't win.
So with 5 of the teams from the SEC making the tournament last year, what would you say? Would you say that the SEC has a strong case to say that they are one of the elite basketball conferences here? Because everyone always talks about the ACC. The only team that you really always hear about from the SEC is Kentucky. You have the Pac-12 with Arizona, Oregon. What would you say, in your opinion?
I mean, you said it, like 5 teams made it to the tournament, and we had a team in the Final Four, and I think that we are a Power 5 conference. The SEC is, so I think that says it all right there, and I think that the conference is going to keep getting better.
Awesome. Well, Kyle, thank you very much for sitting down with me in Sports Mecca today. Can't wait for the season to start and see how you and the rest of the team fare off this year. Well, everyone, this is Kyle Alexander, and myself, Earl Gregg, would like to say have a great day and go Vols. Thank you.
Go Vols.